That's serious.
The April 23rd, 2026 board meeting of the South Carolina Public Charter School District is now called to order.
Yes.
Dexter? Yes.
We'll now take the time to keep memory and say a special prayer for Mrs. Teresa Etheridge, our front desk clerk, office manager, and Epiphany Anderson of Liberty Stream Charter School, who transitioned on to glory this past week. Maybe bow our heads, please. God, we thank you for their lives. Welcome them to glory. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. And now we will have the invocation by Dr. Teresa Pope.
Our Father, our God, we thank you for this lovely day. We thank you for bringing us here safely, and we hope that we will be able to transact the business at hand that will help the children of South Carolina. We thank you for your grace and your mercy and for your love. We ask a special blessing on our superintendent, on our board chair, board members, staff, and all of us who are gathered here today for the purpose of completing our mission and vision for South Carolina Public Charter School District. We ask that you be with us and guide us, give us wisdom to make decisions that are right, and that you be with us throughout the day as we complete the agenda that's before us. Thank you again, Father, for all that you do for us, for your grace and your mercy. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
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 Thank you, Dr. Pope, so much. Very precious. Now we will leave, Dexter Davis will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the
Flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Now, Dr. Billy Strickland, better known as Coach, he will now read our position and mission statements.
The South Carolina Public Charter School District embraces its state-appointed role as the distinct authorizer of public charter school statewide. The mission statement is, the South Carolina Public Charter School District authorizes, supports, and champions innovative K-12 public charter schools, ensuring quality educational opportunities for parents and academic excellence for students so every South Carolina child can reach their highest potential.
Thank you. Thank you. And now roll call by Board Secretary Jonathan Butcher.
Jonathan Butcher is present. Dexter Davis.
Present.
Stephen Gilchrist is not with us. Kip Miller.
Present.
Cindy Mostetler.
Present.
Craig Plank is not with us. Dr. Pope
Present.
and Dr. Strickland.
Present.
Thank you. We have a quorum.
Thank you. We will now move on to the consent agenda. We need approval for today's meeting, April 23rd, 2026.
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you. The motion is approved. Next, we move to approval of the minutes from the March 19th, 2026 meeting. For that, we do need a motion and a second to approve those minutes from that meeting.
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Any question? I didn't think so. We will now put the motion to a vote. All in favor of approval of the minutes from the March 19, 2026 meeting, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Thank you. The ayes have it. Are there any public comments?
Madam Chair, there aren't any at this time.
Thank you. We will now move on to item 8, informational items. Our first to hear from is Felton Laboratory Charter School. Emily Paul.
Good morning.
Morning.
This morning, I have the pleasure of introducing Dr. Jean Graddick from Felton Laboratory Charter School in Orangeburg. She's here today to share some highlights of her school and the work they've been doing to ensure their students have quality opportunities in Orangeburg. Felton is located on the campus of SC State and serves 288 students in grades K through 8 through a STEAM model, infusing the arts into their curriculum and day-to-day activities. Dr. Graddick?
Thank you for coming.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board, Superintendent Neely, and our valued stakeholders. Thank you for your continued leadership, your support, your commitment to Felton Laboratory Charter School. At Felton Laboratory Charter School, everything we do is grounded in one belief, that we provide a rigorous, innovative, and student-centered STEAM environment that empowers all of our students to think critically, create boldly, and achieve at high levels. And we anchor that work in one question: how are the children? This morning, I'm excited through this agenda to update the board on Felton's progress, our systems, and the student outcomes during our growth. The next 3 slides will outline the 12 strategic steps implemented to move us from turnover to transformation, and intentionally answer that question with "our children are well." So as you look at our slides, you're going to see our steps. Let me give you an overview. We had consistent administrator turnover. We had consistent teacher turnover. We had a lack of leadership protocols, direction, and we had fragmented communication and accountability systems. We transformed this into a cohesive, structured, and aligned leadership framework that ensures our children are well. That was our first 3 steps. We used the guiding questions to drive our works. So that drove our next 4 steps. And those questions directly led to actions that built a system and that built structures necessary to sustain success beyond the individual and ensure our children are well. That was our leadership system we built. And here are our final 4 steps. If you notice, through those 12 steps, we have established clear communication across the school board, with the administration, with the staff, and we have built a unified leadership structure that sustains school-wide systems and ensures our students are well. We also wanted to make sure that we looked at the climate and the culture. We did several things with climate and culture. We put in clubs for our middle school so that we could address our one-on-one. We made sure that we did monthly engagement programs with our parents. We did teacher and student award systems at the school. We made sure that we communicated everything in a timely manner so that our parents could attend. We made sure that teachers understood the expectations of gradual release. I do, we do, you do, so that we could move our students from just mimicking what they have heard to actually being creators and innovators and learners so that we could prepare them for the 21st century. We made sure that we became a collective unit at Felton Laboratory Charter School. We wanted to make sure that our systems operated in excellence. We didn't want disorder, and we didn't want everybody in the building not knowing what was expected. So we made sure that we transitioned from reactive operations to proactive operations. We asked the questions before we designed the engagements. We asked the questions before we told the teachers what was expected of them. We asked ourselves the questions before we made sure the students understand what is the Felton way. And we're excited that we are now a systematic thinking school. We're excited about that. Instruction became the priority at Felton. We made sure that instruction was aligned and intentionally and grounded in the graduate release model. We supported it by coaching, by planning, high-quality materials. This work has increased consistency, engagement across all classrooms for every student, every day, resulting in our strong ELA growth and an understanding of the targeted focus we needed to achieve math achievement. Here's our data. ELA growth, 15.8% up this year and moving. We did not have growth in math, but we did not drop either. And so what did we do? We implemented the grant for Purple Ruler. Purple Ruler is in the school every day for all of our grade levels. We are ensuring that the students are on ZERN, which is standards-based grade level learning. We use iReady, which is standards-based, but it actually scaffolds the student to where they need to be. And we have iExcel, which we encourage the parents to use at home. That's Felton Laboratory Charter School. Now I want you to see. This data reflects the impact of everything we've done. But at Felton, everything we do is grounded in a rigorous, innovative, and student-centered STEAM learning environment, right? And we anchor that work in one question: how are the children? So before I go further and close this presentation, I want you to see that in action. Now, that was a video. Technology does what technology wants to do, and I'm not sure. But in this video, you would have seen South Carolina State professors dissecting sharks with our students. You would have seen our students coding, building robots, flying drones. You would have seen us bringing in external partners to make sure that we do every single part of STEAM: science, technology, and the arts and math. You would have seen the students using drums, and you would have seen some contractors come in to teach the drum line. So in this video, you would have seen a lot, maybe another time. Confirmation. Love that picture. We are Palmetto Silver. We soared from below average to good in our middle school, and we are climbing from unsatisfactory to below average, and we expect both schools to be good or excellent this coming year. Again, our work is focused, it's aligned around that one single question: how are the children? And at Felton, you would have seen in the video, and as you can see from this presentation, our children are well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Dr. Graddick, I just wanted to personally thank you on behalf of the entire staff for just the way you've been such a true champion for Kids First, the way that you collaborate with us. I've just seen a huge difference in that school under your leadership. And so I just wanted to publicly and personally thank you for all that you've done to really transform a school that we've always believed in, but we knew it had greater potential. You've raised the bar of expectations. And I tell you what, based on my last visit there a few months ago, the children are doing very well.
Thank you, sir.
So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Graddick. And we will make sure, Board, that you have that link to the video so you can
good.
watch that. I'm going to invite Superintendent Neely and Chair Lady Mosteller down to the step and repeat for our next items.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. It's my pleasure this morning to introduce you to students and faculty from Greer Middle College in the Senior Capstone Program, an experience designed to prepare students for life beyond graduation through hands-on, personalized workforce learning. Each student builds critical skills like communication, collaboration, and problem solving while pursuing a project, internship, or research pathway. Today, we're proud to recognize 4 students who have embraced that opportunity. Sydney Long, who interns with the Meyer Center for Special Children, Anna Pescazio, who interns with Grace Church Taylors, JC Staggs, who interns with Edinburgh West Event Venue, and then Lauren Deaton, who is the founder of Everyday Sweets. Joining them is Kelly Bailey, a dedicated capstone coach since 2020 and a member of the Greer Middle College community since 2011. In addition to guiding students through established internship partnerships, Ms. Bailey also serves as the Director of Enrollment for both Greer Middle College and Greer Preparatory Academy. And I think we also have in attendance the school leader from Greer Preparatory Academy, Nanette Davis. It's my pleasure at this time to introduce you to Ms. Kelly Bailey, who is their mentor and represents the power of real-world workforce learning done the right way. Ms. Bailey.
Thank you so much. Thank you all for letting us be here today to share a little bit about what Greer Middle College does with our senior capstone program. I have been at GMC since 2011, so I've seen the whole program kind of evolve year after year. Back in the day, it was just project, where kids had to think about a year-long learning stretch of a project, similar to what Lauren's going to talk about, and showcase that. They would carry around these big old binders. It was like their own little child. But as we have evolved, and especially once 2020 happened, we went to a digital platform with an e-portfolio. So actually, their e-portfolios are due today at 3 o'clock. So I have 4 very nervous girls here in the car down here, they were typing away the whole day. But with our capstone project, we have 3 different avenues. Like mentioned, we have an internship, a project, or a research component. Lauren is in the research component, and with that, you could either do project or internship, but it is an AP class as well. So she's getting AP credit while she's also performing her capstone project. So with internship, they get to choose a internship that we already have a location. They have to do a minimum of 140 hours at this location throughout the school year, August to April. And then with a project, you have to think of something that is going to take you a year to kind of evolve and make sense of, something that you might have had a little bit of information on, but not in its entirety, and really come up with a product for it. So Lauren will share a little bit about that, and the other girls will share about their internship experience. We also have 4 major components to that, which is the cohort class. So they still have assignments to do. They love them, the research, the note-taking guides, the reflections. They have their portfolio. Like I said, that's due today. We will grade those tomorrow. They have either their internship evaluation, so that's from the business partner and myself and the hours that they have done the whole time, or they have the product, like Lauren has. And then the final component, which I would love to invite everyone to, is on Thursday, May 14th, where they have to give a 12 to 15 minute presentation to a panel of community judges. So it's just them telling their story, their experience of the year, and the sigh of relief that comes after that day, because they are done. We celebrate them the next day with our senior day, and a week later they graduate. But it's just the culmination of their whole year wrapped up into that one presentation. Again, Thursday, May 14th at GMC. We would love to have you. We always are looking for judges. But at this time, I want to call up the girls, because as much as I love to cheer them on and coach them on as one of their capstone coaches, it is their experience, and really we are just here to kind of like the mission, champion them on as they go through this. So I'm going to start with Anna and let her tell a little bit about her story.
Hi, everyone. So like Ms. Bailey said, my name is Anna Piscazio, and this year I got the opportunity to intern at Grace Church Taylors. Grace Church is a non-denominational church that has 12 different campuses all across the upstate of South Carolina. I personally attend the Pelham campus, but this year I got to intern at the Taylors campus, so it was cool to see the different way that churches who are still all connected and the different way that they work and things like that. Throughout my internship, I was able to work with student ministry all the way from 5th grade to 12th grade. And so the Fusion ministry is from 5th through 6th, 24/7 is 7th through 8th, and Forge is for our high schoolers, and I mainly worked with the younger kids. I was able to go on retreats with them and just work behind the scenes, and it made me, and I wanted to become a teacher, but it made me realize that I wanted to become a 5th grade teacher because of the impact that I get to see that the kids, or that I make on the kids. So, yeah.
And then Miss Sydney, she was at the Meyer Center this year.
Good morning, and again, my name is Sydney Long, and since August, I've interned at the Meyer Center, which is a school for kids with special needs, and we serve children from birth to second grade with individualized education and therapy services. And I chose this internship because I've always known I wanted to be a teacher, but I wasn't sure if I wanted to go into elementary education or special education. And there I worked alongside Miss Sarah in her multi-categorical classroom with 11 students, supporting them with their wide ranges of disabilities. And so during my first few weeks that I was there in the classroom, I focused on understanding each student's needs and behaviors. And over time, I began to work one-on-one with students, helping them manage those behaviors and emotions. And I've learned the importance of recognizing behaviors before they arise and get out of hand. And then I also learned how to effectively lead a small group by giving clear instructions and consistent support. And with my support, I also saw their growth as they passed their academic goals. And then this experience, thanks to Miss Sarah and her patience and guidance throughout the year, has confirmed my passion for special education. And next year, I'll be attending Clemson University to major in special education.
You can't tell, I'm just beaming with pride. When I left Sydney's evaluation, I was like, she was made for this. Like, we always kind of knew it, but when you see it in person, you can tell that she was truly made for this. JC Stagg, she is with Edinburgh West Event Venue, which is a fun fact. One of the owners was a GMC graduate in 2016, so she's getting to work with a former GMC student of Blazers.
Like Miss Bailey said, I'm JC Staggs, and I got to intern at Edinburgh West. It's an upscale wedding venue, literally right down the road from the school, which was really convenient, but it was also neat to see how something as neat as a wedding could happen twice a week, literally right down the road from where I live. So within the venue, we are an upscale venue, and we have, we're a full-service venue, so we have catering, florals, and all of your coordinating on site. So for me, I got to be exposed to all different areas of wedding venues and just the wedding industry at one place, which is really unique. But within that, I mainly worked with preparation and coordination. So I got to do everything from setting tables to, I assisted 29 weddings and got to coordinate one wedding by myself, which was really stressful, but it was really unique to be able to do. But within the preparation, again, setting tables and doing anything from, again, setting tables or making arbors or like floral arrangements, anything from silks to lives. And then I also, within the coordinating weddings, I got to do anything from setting out flowers to helping the bride from the back room down to the ceremony. And the biggest thing I learned was how to be people-oriented. Anything that I did within preparation or with coordination was whatever the couple's vision was for the wedding day. So I had to learn how to take their ideas and like truly put them into play. And so with being people-oriented, I learned a lot about how I had to kind of put my ideas like behind. Maybe I didn't think it was the right color scheme or like just the right thing for the wedding, but being able to see it all come to life. And within that, being able to translate that as I go to Anderson to major in secondary math education and turning my people orientation skills into being student orientated and just being a teacher who puts her students first and puts other people first within that. But yes.
And JC was one of the few internships that also was a paid internship. So when I was looking at her portfolio yesterday and she had like over 300 hours, I was like, of course she did. You know, she got paid for that. But it just goes to show that she was able to really dedicate herself to that. And last but not least is Lauren Deaton, who again took the project route. So you've heard 3 internships, but Lauren took the project route and then specifically within research in the AP class.
As Miss Bailey said, my name is Lauren, and I chose to do a project, and for my project, I created my own baking business called Everyday Sweets. I chose to do this project because I love baking with a passion, and I've always wanted to run my own business, but I never knew how to do that. So taking this opportunity, I had the opportunity to research how to start this business and really put that into action with the help of teachers helping guide me through this research. And I chose to do a baking business because of my passion, and I found that it was a good way to grow my skills while also learning all of the new skills that it takes to run a business. And it really helped me with my problem-solving skills and my communication skills, especially with customers and with finding people to help fund my business to get it to where it needs to be. And these skills are going to help me in the future as I'm attending Bob Jones University to major in secondary education and mathematics, and as I'm in the classroom to problem solve and kind of just go with the flow a little bit while still having the structured schedule that I need.
And Lauren's mentor was also a GMC grad, so that was really fun to connect them. And she had all intentions of bringing you guys a treat because she is an incredible baker. But since their portfolios were due today, and since we have prom tomorrow, and since we have all the things, we will make sure to ship some down for y'all's next meeting because her puppy chow is to die for. But Everyday Sweets on Instagram, I'm going to plug her because she is an incredible baker. But thank you guys so much for letting us be here and just share what the incredible things that our students are doing. And they are just one of the 122 graduates that we have this year, or 4 of the 122 graduates that we have this year doing these incredible things. So thank you guys so much.
Mr. Superintendent, Madam Chair, if I may, having toured that school with Mr. Armstrong and Mr. Bill Owens, I saw just the spirit in the building and just the way the educators work with the scholars, so keep doing a great job.
Students wouldn't mind stepping back up front, we'd like to share a token of our appreciation and take a photo.
Good boy. Young man. Yeah, I know Bill well. Bill's getting old. Mm-hmm. Bill's 60 years old. Good man. Good guy.
Now, GMC students, I know that 3 of you are going into education, and you're in a room right now of many principals, but principals, back off because I want them. On the way out, girls, take my business card, keep in touch while you're at school, and come visit us when you're ready to graduate and be placed out of school, okay? All right. You're going to be hot commodities if you stay for lunch. Good morning, Madam Chair and members of the board. The Public Charter School District has officially wrapped our very first year-long professional learning cohort for the new charter school leaders called CLIC New Leaders. CLIC, as you know, stands for Charter Leadership Instructional Conservatory. This new leader cohort was facilitated by 2 experienced PCSD school leaders, Mr. Brian Myrup of York Prep Academy and Mr. Josh Trahan of Fox Creek High School. This initiative was designed to provide sustained, job-embedded leadership development aligned to the unique demands of leading a public charter school in South Carolina through monthly cohort sessions, individualized coaching, and peer collaboration. Participants engaged in a blended model of professional development that included direct instruction, targeted coaching, and individualized mentorship. Each participant was paired with a veteran mentor from across our portfolio to provide ongoing support and development. This federally funded activity supported Title II priorities by providing ongoing professional learning opportunities for school leaders, improving instructional leadership practices, and addressing school improvement needs to positively impact student achievement. It is with great pleasure that I present to you today our very first Click New Leader Cohort 1 completers. Leaders, please come forward as your name is called for a photo, and then we will take one group cohort photo as well. And Josh and Brian, if you would please join us for the group photo. Up first, we have Angelica Camargo from Green Upstate High School. Nanette Davis of Greer Prep Academy. Tiffany Shepard of Fox Creek Middle School. Sorry, Marlene. Ricky Reyes of Palmetto Scholars Academy. And Maria Werner of Green Charter Simpsonville. Each of our cohort participants have provided rich feedback to our facilitators to strengthen and improve the program moving forward. We look forward to announcing our second cohort of Click New Leaders this summer. So those of you that are new to us or brand new schools opening up, look forward for that invitation, and we congratulate each of these leaders.
Okay, now, isn't this where we are, right here, Brad Henry? Yeah. B. Huh? B. Okay, yeah. Okay. Okay, thank you. Now we move to action items. Transfer school contracts. Kristen Farmer, thank you.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. Sorry. At the December 11th, 2025 board meeting, you approved the transfer applications of 14 schools sponsored by the Limestone Charter Association. Today, we are seeking your approval of the charter contracts for those schools effective July 1st, 2026. Copies of the signed contracts were included in your board shared folder for the following schools: Atlantic Collegiate Academy, Coastal High School, Discovery School at Myrtle Beach, Discovery School at Rock Hill, Eastlink Academy, Global Academy of South Carolina, Gocher Charter Academy, Horse Creek Academy in Aiken, Legion Collegiate Academy, Mountain View Preparatory, Oceanside Collegiate Academy, Orangeburg High School for Health Professions, Riverstone High School, and Somerville Preparatory Academy. We respectfully request the board's approval of the contracts and ask the board to entertain a motion to grant Chair Mosteller approval to sign the charter contracts. Thank you.
Thank you. We need a motion and a second to approve the transfer school contracts as recommended by staff.
Motion to accept staff recommendation.
Thank you.
Second.
Second, thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions, discussions?
I have a question.
Yes.
The Atlantic, did you say Atlantic, the first one?
Atlantic Collegiate, yes.
I just didn't see it in the packet.
I don't believe they were all printed because there are 14 of them.
Okay.
They were all in your Google folders.
All right.
So they're,
Okay.
because they're
'Cause I've only got-
materially,
I've got 10, that's fine.
Okay, fair
there
enough.
there aren't any material differences
Yeah,
between the
yeah.
contracts,
Okay,
Yeah, okay,
but we can certainly make them available for review.
thank you.
thank you. Coach, did you have a question? I wanted to just bring up an issue that I appreciated. It looks like in the contracts that we have said, basically, I think it's on generally page 7 of the contract, that there will not be EMOs involved.
That depends on the school. Some schools do have EMOs already in place, and because these are transfer schools,
Yes,
it would specify whether or not they do have an EMO and the name of the EMO.
yeah, okay,
And any changes to that EMO or contract, it has to come before you.
okay. So it's just, most of the contracts I was looking at did not have an EMO, but the school has the freedom to have that EMO.
With permission
With
from.
permit, with guarded permission?
Correct.
Yeah, okay, thank you, thank you. That's all, any other questions? All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None. Ayes have it, thank you. Kristen's going to be up here a while. Next, we move to the Movement School Bridgeview Voluntary Relinquishment.
Staff recommends that the PCSD Board of Trustees accept the voluntary relinquishment of the Movement School Bridgeview Charter based on a formal resolution submitted by the school's governing board on April 2nd, 2026. Movement School Bridgeview was approved in April 2023 and opened in the 24-25 school year. The school currently serves kindergarten through second grade. Over its 2 years of operation, the school experienced ongoing enrollment challenges, reaching approximately 43% of projected capacity in year 1, 60% in year 2, and this year is projecting 61%. On March 12th, 2026, the governing board voted unanimously to close the school at the end of the 25-26 school year with a final day of instruction on June 4th. The decision to close was driven by structural and financial factors rather than academic performance. These include persistent enrollment shortfalls, transportation barriers for families, and financial sustainability concerns tied to the reliance on network subsidies. Movement Schools has indicated that this closure reflects a strategic shift in its expansion model and has expressed an intent to pursue further opportunities in South Carolina under a multi-campus approach. The organization has developed a comprehensive transition plan, including support for families in identifying new school options, offering staff placement opportunities within the network, and ensuring all financial and operational obligations are met. Based on the governing board's action and the transition plan in place, staff recommends that the board accept the voluntary relinquishment of the Movement School Bridgeview Charter and Contract. Joining us today is Ms. Carrie Ann Thomas, CEO of Movement Schools. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is KTT, Carrie Ann T. Thomas. I am the CEO of Movement Schools, and I will be speaking on behalf of the actual school closure for Movement Bridgeview. I'm going to explain why we came to that decision, the overall success of the campus, and our plan to move forward long-term and short-term. We don't take lightly the impact that this decision has on our kids, our staff, as well as our families. But this decision was made with those very same individuals in mind. In particular, thinking about the long-term impact of our kids and our staff and our families' success. We want to make sure that anytime we open up a school, the school has the opportunity and the ability to truly stand on its own, can operate on its own federal dollars without relying on so much as it relates to the private and funding and donations, et cetera. With that being said, do we have the PowerPoint? Oh.
You have the clicker right there. I'm sorry.
Wonderful. With that being said, this decision was a strategic decision, not an actual failure. So the board did vote on the actual decision, and I'll talk a little bit more about like what led us to that, and then what's our strategy long term. So why are we closing? Here are the 4 major components as to why. The first one is enrollment and location. As Kristen mentioned, our first year, we only enrolled about 43% of our overall target, which then meant that the organization and the foundation had to cover the other costs, right? They had to fill in the gap. The second year, which is this year that we are currently in, we did make an increase in enrollment. However, we only hit 60% of our overall in target, which of course then means that the organization has to financially fill in a gap. And then when we look at the projection of enrollment for next year, which will be year 3 of the actual school opening, they were only projected to, again, only hit 61% of the overall enrollment, which of course is projected that the organization will have to fill in that gap. Filling in the gap year after year after year, of course, is a huge financial cost, and again, impacts our overall strategic plan as it relates to our larger movement model. The location served as a barrier. Where we are located, in particular, is very hard to be as visible to the public, and when you're a brand new organization in a community, that visibility is very important to the overall brand and being able to enroll our schools. Now, while enrollment is an issue, I do want to name that persistence and attrition is not. When our families choose movement schools, they stay at movement schools. And there are lots of schools that can't necessarily say that. Our attrition is over 93% of our families actually stay with us. And if we lose families, it is often due to transportation issues, which brings me into our second reason as to why this has been a barrier. Transportation. A lot of our families, again, they love movement. However, transportation is a barrier. There was a time in which I explained this to our staff members that we are going to close the school, and I talked about the location being a challenge, and I talked about transportation being a challenge. And up to 25 staff members that are at that school, I said, raise your hand if you actually live in North Charleston. And only 3 of them raised their hand, which shows that even our staff members don't live in the community in which we are serving. And that is also the case for a lot of our families. A lot of our families are busing from longer commutes. A lot of our families are transporting from different areas, such as Summerville, which is about 30 to 45 minutes out from where we are actually physically located. And that, of course, makes it very challenging. Also, what makes it challenging as it relates to transportation, there are 2 transportation companies that services our neighborhood. And one of them actually said that they could not service our school community, so that actually only left us with one bus company option, which is Coastal Bus Line. When you are left with only one option, that of course is a barrier within itself. We increased our bus routes, we increased the amount of buses that we provided, but when your enrollment is struggling, that of course widens the gap financially with the support that the network will have to provide. Then I want to talk about the actual teacher market. So Charleston School County District is one of the highest paying county districts in South Carolina and in the Southeast region as a whole, which love that for them. I want to go on record. That is exactly what organizations and counties should move towards. We should pay our teachers more. However, being a charter school with getting less funding on the dollar per child and trying to compete with schools that are literally just 5 minutes away from us, it makes it very challenging. Again, leading to a larger gap financially that we will have to fill. Overall, this financial sustainability of keeping this campus open remains a barrier. And the reason why I wanted to break down these 4 things is because we can do everything that we possibly can to keep this one location open, but that goes against what we came to you all a few years ago as it relates to creating a school that is able to operate and sustain on its own. So, but I want to be very, very, very clear, and I know I don't have much time, but at Movement Schools, we exist to love and value our scholars and communities by leading a movement of excellence in education. In partnership with our families, we equip our scholars with the tools to close generational gaps through self-efficacy, access to world-class instruction, and financial education. And as it relates to our mission, we did exactly that when you look at our results. And I want to be very clear about that. We are currently serving grades K through 2, and our results are exceptional. At Bridgeview, our students are performing at or above the national norms when it comes to their assessment on MAP, which is a nationally normed assessment. Our kindergartners are 15 percentage points above the national norm. Our kindergartners, 85% of our kindergartners are at or above the national benchmark. In particular, I want to highlight second grade because our second graders did not start kindergarten with us. Our second graders at most started with us in first grade because this is only year 2 of the school being open. And 106% of our second graders made growth in math, and the growth for reading, 122%. This is incredible, showing, again, the amazing excellence in education that our students are receiving. And when we look at the second graders, the current cohort of second graders, they are projected to outperform the district and the state on the state assessment. And we will be tracking our second graders wherever they decide to go. We will be making sure that we keep track of their overall performance because, again, the brilliance was there. This decision to close was more about the actual location and less about the actual model because what we have proven is that our model works. Also, again, back to our mission, the first part of our mission is to love and value people. So how are we supporting our people, the little people and the big people? So here's what we plan to do as it relates to our transition for our scholars. One, we had a school choice fair, which was last week, in which we held it at our campus. We had 13 schools come to our campus to actually meet with our families directly. We had food trucks, we had a bouncy house, just so that our kids could have something to do. Meanwhile, families were talking to schools about the different options. We also had our staff members were able to speak with these schools as well as it relates to their plans, their transition plans as well. So we had one last week and we have another one today. We are also giving our families a personalized academic report so that they can have that in hand whenever they do talk to different schools about what they offer. We want our families to be equipped with the knowledge and the information as it relates to their overall child's performance and use that to their ability to go after that excellence with their next school. And then priority enrollment. If we do have a school that takes over our campus right now, which is something that we're trying to work on behind the scenes, we've been connecting with 2 other local charter school partners to see if they can take over the campus. If that does happen, then our students will stay within the building. It would just be operating with a different fund. So we're, again, behind the scenes working on some of those things. And then as it relates to staff, we are giving our staff a $1,000 transition bonus. All staff members will receive that. We are also supporting with resume and hiring. We are also giving letter of recommendations for those that we will actually recommend moving forward. And then we are also giving them additional PTO times for dedicated interview days for other schools. And last but not least, for individuals that we would have given an offer to are automatically eligible to transfer to one of our movement campus in Charlotte, North Carolina, or Atlanta, Georgia. And I would name that already to date, 53% of our current Bridgeview staff has already committed to either moving to Charlotte or moving to Atlanta, which says so much about the organization. We have organizations that are within minutes away from each other that can't get people to transfer. They're like, no, I'm done with the entire organization. It says so much about the culture that we have at Movement as a whole that people are willing to move to Charlotte or move to Atlanta just to stay within the actual organization. But again, as it relates to strategy, our goal is to come back to South Carolina, but come back with a lot more research, market analysis, connections and partnership with you all to say, here, based on the demographic that you're trying to serve and what you're trying to do, where is actually the best location in which you will be able to do so. When I came to you all a few years ago asking for Movement Schools to get the approval, I mentioned this idea that we plan to open up not just one school, but several schools. And when we look at our current location as is, based on our model, we're not going to be able to open up several schools. At Movement Schools, whenever we place a school, we always think about, can I open about 5 other schools within 20 minutes from each other? That's a huge part of our model. When you look at our schools in Charlotte, we can get to all of our schools within an hour. Again, based off what I shared about North Charleston and the demographic, it's going to be very challenging to put up 5 more if we're already seeing that we're struggling with enrollment for the one campus. So when we come back to South Carolina, and that is our goal, you will see me again. This time it will be with this idea of selecting a location in which it truly is going to be a place where multiple campuses will be able to open and our model will be able to thrive, because we have already proven our track record does truly speak for itself as it relates to what we are providing our students. We just want to make sure that we not only do that for 153 kids that we currently serve, but for thousands of children, because that has always been a huge part of our mission. And last but not least, I just want to thank the staff, because this has been a great partnership. As you all know, we have schools in Atlanta as well as in Charlotte, so I work with lots of districts and lots of leaders across multiple states. And I would say what I love about South Carolina is that you all truly show up. You all came to our ribbon cutting. The staff came to the first day of school. They have literally just, they had pictures with our kids. Kristen, that's my girl, right? So it's just like, literally, I cannot thank you all enough for the support that we have had. I can call John and he would literally pick up, we'll always make the time. And the stuff like that, you can't ask for anything better. So we definitely, again, want to come back to South Carolina, but do so in partnership now that we have this level of partnership, and you all help guide us as it relates to where do you think is best based on what you know that we offer and what we can provide. I thank you all so much, everyone that is here, as well as everyone that's behind me. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, now for our part. So we need a motion and a second to accept the voluntary relinquishment of the Movement School Bridgeview Charter.
Motion to accept staff recommendation.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Any questions? Any further questions?
Yep.
Yes.
In the, just so Chris and Eric, so on the transition plans, it says, if a charter takes the building, Bridgeview scholars get first dibs, no lottery. Can they do that? Is that in the law, that a school can say that kids don't have to go through a lottery?
It's not clear about that. The details will matter about how they will be doing that, but we'll have to look at exactly how that would be structured. It's not in the law, but it doesn't. There's no express prohibition either. It's a little bit of an unprecedented situation. So we're willing to sort of look and see how it all shakes out and see. It has to be full enough to need a lottery to begin with. So we'll just wait and see where we go on that.
I appreciate the sentiment. I think it's obviously like the idea, but just need to stay within the law, that's all.
Agree. It is an issue that will have to be addressed at the time.
Okay, good.
Madam Chair.
Yes.
We toured that school and we felt that location was going to be an issue at some point. My question is, how committed is Mr. Crawford to the success of what you're doing?
Very committed, which is why we mentioned this idea of strategic decision, because if that commitment wasn't there, we would just say, okay, this doesn't work, and focus on the other areas where we're located. But it was just no, we're committed to making sure that we just find where this actually does work. And I think the level of commitment actually shows with the amount of subsidy that has been provided over the years, right? We've already provided over $3 million of support financially just for the campus as is. So I think that shows his level of commitment is very, very deep. His parents are actually in South Carolina. South Carolina is truly home.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Any other questions? The chair will now put the motion to a vote to accept the voluntary relinquishment of the Movement School Bridgeview Charter.
All in favor, say aye.
Yes.
Aye.
Yeah,
Aye.
Yeah, all in favor say aye. Thank you. Ayes have it. And thank you. That was, I'd like to buy some of you and put it in there.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, appreciate you all.
Okay. Now we move to item C, Innovation Preparatory Academy at Greenville, the charter application.
Madam Chair, before I begin, I'd like to ask Eric Norton to provide a brief overview of conditional approval.
Hi, Board. I just want to remind us a little bit, this is something that we don't do a whole lot, but the Charter Act allows you to do a conditional approval under Section 59-40-80. The staff recommendation here is for a conditional approval, and we try to avoid that for a variety of reasons. Just historically, what we've done is we have tried to approve charter applications out the gate to allow there to be full approval, to allow the applicant to go ahead with financing and things of that nature, not to have to deal with contingencies and to deal with any conditions through the pre-opening conditions. This year, as you know, is unprecedented because the applicants have had, certain applicants started the process under the Limestone application process and then came over. This is an example of one of those applicants. And so they had the disadvantage a little bit of being way down the road on the application process before they had to sort of switch over to our process. And as a result, excuse me, they were a little bit behind, and it left them wanting on a couple of the statutory requirements as we apply them out the gate. All the authorizers eventually get there. We just get there in a little bit different way. And so because Limestone typically used that conditional approval to get there to the statutory process, we are recommending as a staff that you allow this group to use that conditional approval process this year as well. So we're sort of conforming our process a little bit to how Limestone would normally do it or would have done it in the past because of the time factor. Very simply, the conditional approval just says that if it's before the applicant has secured their facility, just to give it a little bit of a shortcut. If it's before they've secured their actual facility, their actual address by location or by address, and then they can ask for a conditional approval to meet some of the other statutory requirements. And a common way that this comes up is that, until a school identifies a specific location, it's hard for them to identify specific need and specific families and specific community organizations, so particularly in urban areas, where a couple of miles in the difference of a school could really change who your attendees might be during your first year. So Kristen will explain how this applies to this particular applicant, but I just wanted you to understand why we were doing conditional approval or headed towards conditional approval from a staff recommendation in this particular case, because we don't do that very frequently. It's a little bit of a departure from the staff process in this case, and why this applicant is in that particular situation. So it's just a little bit different from a process and legal standpoint. And I'm glad to answer any questions about that before we get into the actual application, if you have any.
Okay. Innovation Preparatory Academy at Greenville Charter application.
Staff recommends conditional approval of the application submitted by Innovation Preparatory Academy at Greenville, a proposed K-8 charter school to be located in the Fountain Inn, Greenville area. The school proposes to open in the 2027-28 school year, serving 575 students in its first year, with plans to grow to full enrollment of 900 students. Its model is competency-based and character-focused, emphasizing personalized learning, project-based instruction, and strong social-emotional supports. Student progress is mastery-based, which is intended to better meet individual learning needs and support long-term student success. From an operations and academic standpoint, the application demonstrates strong capacity. The instructional model is well-developed and aligned to current best practices in personalized learning. the school will partner with Charter Schools USA as its EMO to provide comprehensive academic, operational, and staffing support, leveraging an established network of schools and resources. The governing board includes members with relevant experience and has outlined structures for oversight and accountability while maintaining ultimate responsibility for the school's performance. The application also presents thorough organizational and business plans. The budget includes contingency planning, and the school has identified a proposed facility aligned to its programmatic needs. However, the financial model does rely on meeting projected enrollment targets, and startup financing assumptions introduce some level of risk that will require continued monitoring. There are two primary areas that led to the conditional recommendation. First, while a facility has been identified, the site has not yet been finalized, and key details related to acquisition and financing remain pending. Second, the applicant submitted a notarized student table with the application to meet the minimum requirement. A market study was provided to support the proposed location, along with some evidence related to community demand. Based on the overall strength of the application and the applicant's demonstrated capacity, staff believe that these concerns can be addressed prior to opening. Therefore, staff recommends conditional approval subject to two conditions: securing the approved facility site and providing additional evidence of community need at the proposed location, both by January 1st, 2027. Pending satisfaction of these conditions, district pre-opening requirements, and successful contract negotiations, the school would be approved to open for the 2027-28 school year. PCSD staff respectfully request a motion to conditionally approve the application from Innovation Preparatory Academy at Greenville. And we do have Innovation Prep board members here to speak with you today and answer any questions you may have. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. We need a motion and a second to conditionally approve the charter school application received from Innovation Preparatory Academy at Greenville, as recommended by staff.
I move that we accept the recommendation of the staff for a conditional approval of opening.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor indicate by saying
But,
aye.
but wait, before we do that, so
Questions?
is he going to present? Because this is an application, correct?
Yes, yes, he is going to present.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
should we have the presentation before we vote?
Correct.
We're just getting a motion in front.
Well, if we vote to accept the staff recommendation, the recommendation is to conditionally approve.
Yeah.
I would suggest we hear his presentation before we conditionally approve.
Okay. Would the board concur with that?
So can we change the motion to say, or can we, just for Robert's rules, I think we should probably just have the presentation and then vote, correct, Eric?
Yeah, you typically accept the information, then have your motion, then your discussion.
Okay. My bad, you go.
All right.
You're on first.
Okay. Thank you very much. We've got a little PowerPoint here for Innovation Preparatory Academy. First of all, I'd like to thank the staff for their favorable recommendation, and thank you for letting us present here today. Samuel Rivers, our chairman, was supposed to be presenting. He had an emergency come up and was unable to make it. So I'm the treasurer. We've got our other board members here, Paul and Jay. Paul is the vice chairman of the board. A lot of what was discussed earlier is covered in this PowerPoint, so I'll go quickly through it and get to any questions you may have. But I think one of the strongest things we bring to the table at this point is a very, very strong board. In any given circumstance, the board needs to do three things. They have to have the business acumen to keep the school open. You have to be able to manage the governance, compliance, and performance. And then, of course, you have to have an understanding of education. So when I look at the composition of our board, we have a former state legislator, we have a charter school founder, we have several business people, we have educators, we have a lobbyist, and a former investment banker. So we cover, I believe, all of those boxes very strongly. And at this point in time, this early in the game, the board is really what makes this happen from this point forward, until we start having the school itself. Our mission statement, again, it's to strengthen each student academically, socially, and emotionally, and within a highly engaging, supportive environment. The vision is to set a model for future-ready, competency-based learning where well-rounded students flourish in school and life. Everything, they're lofty goals. It's difficult to say sometimes. It's a awkward sentence, but at the end of the day, the goals, everything we'll do within the school will try to comport with those goals and live up to those goals. Why Greenville? Greenville is one of the fastest growing counties in one of the fastest growing states in the nation. We've done some pretty significant demographic work. We believe there is more than enough demand to meet our enrollment needs. The population grew 19% from 2014 to 2024. They're expecting nearly 600,000 residents at the end of this year. And we believe we would only need a very small portion of the potential students to meet our goals. We believe putting the school in this area will help relieve the burden on some traditional schools which are at capacity or struggling with too much capacity, and it'll expand, most importantly, expand choices for the families in the Greenville area. We've only been able to do so much not knowing if the school was going to be there, so we've done what we can to embed ourselves into the area. We did a survey and we got over 200 favorable responses to the school and interest in the school. We've partnered with Prodigy Early Learning, a preschool, who has allowed us to use the facilities so we can host gatherings to raise awareness. We've been in discussions with the local Chamber of Commerce, Rotary, and the YMCA, among others, to make sure that we're embedded in civic organizations in the area. As I said, 200 parents expressed support. It's a rapidly growing county. We run 2 other schools, one in Myrtle Beach and one in Somerville, and we are as excited or more about the opportunities in Greenville as we were for those to make a successful school. As we discussed, we're hoping to open the school in 27-28 school year. We'll have our goal is to have 700 students, kindergarten through 6th grade. We'll add 1 grade a year with 100 people up to a total of 900 people. The school will be open to students of all learning profiles. There will be no discrimination of any kind. And if more students apply than we have capacity for, we go to a lottery system as stated in our charter. The board itself, we're committed to being excellent stewards of public funds. I'm the treasurer, so I guess that falls to me. We're ensuring that the board governance meets all state requirements. We annually evaluate our partnership with Charter School USA, making sure that they're living up to our expectations and performance expectations. And our partnership with Charter School USA and with the public charter school district to make sure we're compliant with all federal and state laws and best practices. And then finally, just a little bit about Charter School USA. They manage 100 schools over 4 states. They've been doing it for 27 years. They have a 95% parent satisfaction rate and 94% of their students graduate. We've found them to be a very good partner thus far. And that's the presentation. Are there any questions we can answer?
Yeah, if you'll stay there, we'll make a motion, we'll get a motion out. We need a motion and a second to conditionally approve the charter school application received from Innovation Preparatory Academy at Greenville as recommended by staff.
I move that we accept the staff recommendation for conditional approval.
Second.
Thank you, second. Any questions now?
I had one. Can you read your mission statement again, please?
Sure can. The mission statement reads, IPAG's mission is to strengthen each student academically, socially, and emotionally within a highly engaging and supportive environment.
Okay, what is the social and emotional part? What does that mean?
The social emotional part, it falls under the independent learning, the model that we have for our students. We're highly focused on each of their needs. The social and emotional element of it is just bringing a family-type culture and high personal expectations of the students in our schools.
Do you have an SEL curriculum?
Do I have what?
Do you have an SEL curriculum that you're using, that you've purchased?
Yes.
You do. Who is that from? Okay. Has staff reviewed that curriculum for, to make sure it complies with the a proviso regarding critical race theory?
I believe it's already used in South Carolina, isn't it?
We use it both Somerville and Myrtle Beach.
So it's gone through the review process through the other two schools, so it's not been re-reviewed. But it would be before, it would go through whatever normal annual review process before the school opens.
Okay, thanks.
Any other questions? Yes.
Question or comment?
Yes.
Yes, Fountain Inn is an area that is tremendously growing, so that's a great opportunity to place a school. I would say to the lobbyists in the group, tread lightly, because that can be some conflict from time to time. And yes, the curriculum, the SEL curriculum is great. Liberty STEAM uses that, so it's a great program to have in your school.
Good, good. Okay. So we have a motion and a second. Are there any further discussion? Having here none, the chair will put the motion to a vote. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. None opposed. Thank you.
Thank you.
Those were great questions. Midlands and Upstate Acceleration Academies Charter Application.
Staff recommends that the PCSD Board of Trustees accept the voluntary withdrawal of the Midlands and Upstate Acceleration Academies application for the 2026 charter application cycle. South Carolina Acceleration Academies submitted a replication application to establish a new alternative education campus in both the Midlands and Upstate regions. These proposed schools were designed to serve students ages 14 to 21, particularly those who have faced barriers to success in traditional educational settings. On April 7, 2026, the governing board formally notified the district of its decision to withdraw the application after careful consideration and has elected not to proceed at this time. Based on the governing board's formal request, staff supports this decision and recommends the board accept the withdrawal of the Midlands and Upstate Acceleration Academies application for the 2026 cycle. Thank you.
Thank you. We need a motion and a second to accept the voluntary withdrawal of the Midlands and Upstate Acceleration Academies applications, which were submitted for the 26 charter application cycle.
Motion to accept. Go ahead, Dr. Pope. I'll second. Dr. Pope, you have the motion. I'll second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Are there any questions or discussions?
Is there anyone here from the school?
No, sir, there is not.
Not at this time.
No.
Okay. May I ask, does this issue hit into the issue of the age of the student population there?
No, we've had discussions with Acceleration Academy and determined through the discussions that the timing wasn't right for them and it wasn't right for us either.
Okay, so that's good. That's nice to know. Okay. That was my one question. Any other questions? So we have a motion. Any questions? We will now put the motion to a vote. All in favor, as recommended by staff, to have a motion to accept the voluntary withdrawal of the Midlands and Upstate Acceleration Academies applications, which were submitted for the 2026 charter application cycle. Do we have a motion on the floor? To accept.
Call the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Yes. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? No.
No.
Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, Nick.
Good morning, Madam Chair and board members. Before I get into my action items, I'd like to have Jackie Snell provide a brief introduction for a new staff member.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. I'm thrilled to introduce Marty Anderson as a new team member. She comes to us with a lot of experience in human resources and in PIBA benefits, so she has just hit the ground running. She started at the end of March, and I'd just like you to meet her, and thank you very much.
Thank you. Welcome.
All right, going into action item E, the FY26 General Fund Budget Amendment. Madam Chair and members of the board, the budget amendment overview includes a mid-year 5% salary increase for all staff, including the superintendent, adding essential staff for the 14 approved LCA transfer schools, and aligning actual revenue for the year compared to the original budget. Flipping over to the next page, this chart shows the original budget on the left with the proposed amendment on the right, which includes a decrease in interest and pre-K revenue and increases in miscellaneous income and other state funding sources. The net increase in revenue is projected to be approximately $449,000 compared to the original budget, which was a conservative forecast that you approved in June of '25. On the expenditure side, there's the 5% increase in salaries and benefits, which also includes adding some essential staff in the current year. All other categories increase except for the other objects, and that's mainly because we did not focus on some organizational memberships like we have in prior years. Going to the next slide, this compares the amended revenue and expenditures with a net increase of $449,000 or 8.03% between the original budget and the expenditures for the year. Madam Chair and members of the board, I respectfully request board approval of the FY26 amended general fund budget pending any questions.
Thank you. We need a motion and a second to approve the district's fiscal year 25 budget as recommended by staff.
Budget amendment.
Budget amendment.
So moved.
Second.
Having a motion and a second, we will now call for any questions, discussion. Hearing none, the chair will put the motion to the vote. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? No. The chair announced the motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you. And I'm glad that you approved the amendment because otherwise this next presentation would be hopeless. Moving into action item F, it's our March financial report. Madam Chair and board members, at the end of March, we expect 25% of the general fund approved budget to remain. We are currently at 28.36%. My report will show the district is operating at a net gain for the year, and the April report next month will also show a net increase for the month and the year. If you flip over to page 2, this is the district-wide income statement, which includes general fund state aid to classrooms revenue transferred to our schools. Through March 31st, the district received over $169.4 million in revenue, with total expenditures of over $169.2 million, which equals a net gain of $164,238. Of the revenue received, over $164.9 million was sent to our schools under the state aid to classrooms line and any that participate in the South Carolina retirement system. If you flip over to page 3, this report is the income statement for the district office only, which includes only general fund revenue recorded for our state mandated 2% authorizing fee, donations, interest income, and any other local sources. For the month of March, the district recorded over $540,000 in revenue, over $492,000 in expenditures, for a net increase of $47,646 for the month. This increases our beginning fund balance from $3,462,766 to $3,627,004, which is a net gain for the year of the $164,238. The April financial report will also show a net increase for the month, resulting in a net increase in our fund balance. Flipping over to page 4, this report breaks out the district's budget and expenditures by department. Leadership has a budget of over $1.8 million, expenditures of over $1.3 million, with 28% remaining. Sponsor Performance has a budget of over $1.3 million, expenditures of over $989,000, with 29% remaining. Support and Implementation has a budget of over $1.2 million, expenditures of over $951,000, with 24% remaining. External Affairs has a budget of $643,000, expenditures of over $460,000, with 28% remaining. And lastly, Financial Services and Human Resources has a budget of over $918,000, expenditures of over $601,000, with 35% remaining. And just like last month, my team has the best budget. Flipping over to page 5 and 6 of my report, is generated monthly by the State Department and includes all state funding calculated for the district. Of the $272.1 million of total allocation, $265.4 million is under the state aided classrooms line, which is approximately 97.51%. All right, flipping over to page 7, this is a new report that I've added this month, which shows the revenue versus expenditures by month for the year. Since October of 2025, you can see that the district has shown a net increase for a total net income of that $164,238 through the end of March. The final page of my report displays the budget versus actual revenue received for the year. Through the end of March, the district budgeted $4,532,194 with actual revenue of $4,493,541, which is a net decrease of approximately 0.64%. And this is due to factors of additional state revenue sources that are going to be coming through in the fourth quarter. So you'll see those numbers more aligned as we move throughout the fiscal year. Madam Chair, this concludes my March financial report, and I respectfully request board approval pending any questions.
Thank you. We need a motion and a second to approve the March 2026 financial report as recommended by staff.
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Having a motion and a second, we will now call for any questions, discussions, including.
Let me just
Yes.
make a comment. You have handled this transition, you know, you say you hope it's once in a lifetime, right?
Yes.
When you pick up that and how you dealt with that, it was a tremendous job. I know working with the State Department, working with the various organizations, it's not an easy task, but thank you for your hard work.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Nick. Now on to G. First reading fiscal year.
We need to take a vote. We need to take a vote.
Take a vote.
Call for the question.
Call the question.
Excuse me.
Call the question.
Call the question. All in favor to approve the March 2026 financial report as recommended by staff, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Thank you. All right, my last action item, G, the first reading of the fiscal year 2027 general fund budget. Madam Chair and board members, projected revenue is based on the House version to include the district's current 45-day membership, Limestone Charter Academy Transfer School's current 45-day membership, increasing the state minimum teacher salary for teachers to $50,500, interest on our investments, and our 2% state mandated authorizing fee. This is a very conservative revenue forecast because it doesn't include growth in our current or transfer schools. All right, this slide shows the projected sources, projected revenue sources for the district office general fund budget only, which is a conservative estimate of just over the $7.8 million. You can see total revenue coming in for the entire district of $356 million, and then our portion would be the 7.8. For the expenditure overview, we would like to offer a 3% cost of living increase to reward all staff, including the superintendent, for operational excellence. Additionally, we would like to increase essential FTEs from 38 to 45. Looking at the expenditure overview, this slide shows more expenditure increases on the salary side and benefits, and then also travel to allow current and future staff to support schools. So those are the large increases compared to the current year budget. This final slide provides a balanced budget of $7.8 million in revenue and $7.8 million in expenditures for an increase of 29.33% for both compared to the newly approved FY26 budget today. Madam Chair, this concludes my first reading of the fiscal year 27 general fund budget, and I respectfully request board approval pending any questions.
Thank you. We need a motion and a second to approve the first reading of fiscal year 2026-27 budget as recommended by staff.
So moved.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Second, thank you. Having a motion and a second, are there any questions?
Yes, do we have, Chris, have you given us what the positions are going to be, the 7 positions? Do we have a description of what that would be? Or have they already been added? Going from 38 to 45?
Yeah, we can provide you with a list of those jobs as well as the job descriptions. The reason for the large increase is because we just, added a lot more students, about 8,000 more students and 14 schools. There's not another district in America, I think, that has taken over another district within about a 2-month time span. And so if we're going to provide the same level of support and maintain the culture that we have here, that we've got to have more people engage with our school leaders and our teachers and our students. So that's the reason for the increase, and I'd be happy for us to provide you with a list of the positions and then the job descriptions as well.
Yeah, I have no doubt. I know you guys
Yeah.
got 14 schools. It's just, our job is to keep the,
No, that's right.
keep the record. So
Yeah, that's why it's a balanced budget. Yeah.
To add a little bit more context to that,
You know
adding the 14 schools, increase it, that's a 31% increase, and we're just asking for an 18% increase in staff.
Okay. Having a motion. Okay. So we've done that.
And my only question would be, if you look at the numbers and you look at that, and I know we all want to be fiscally conservative, and you question, is that enough, I mean, and I know you're at the baseline of that, and it's hard to predict, exactly when you add, like you said, Superintendent, if you add 14 schools and 8,000 students, what is it going to take from the staff? So it's kind of you hate, in finance, they don't like the word guess, right, Nick? But it's got to be an estimate based on that, so I think it's more than fair, but I hope we don't work it's too much work, so, with that increase. So I think it's a hard thing to predict, and like you said, all of a sudden, you wasn't prepared for that. But again, as I said before, with finance, and it's the entire staff that's been impacted on this.
Yeah.
And a great adjustment by everyone in the staff, because it was a hard thing, and I think it says a lot for the group of the State Department in saying, here's what you want to do. So that's a vote of confidence for this organization and school district to have that.
Yeah, we appreciate the board's support of the budget amendment for the current fiscal year. As we told you in January, we anticipated that, we were going to see this transfer of schools and and the responsibilities for our staff. And, you know, when you continue to increase the number of students with disabilities, the number of students of poverty, and then, of course, you know, include a lot more zip codes in your portfolio, it requires, you know, more staff. And the staff should be commended because they jumped in head first with all of us to ensure that these schools got the same level of support they were getting before. But
Or
it is
more,
hard.
more.
It's hard to know the right mix. And that's why we always end up coming to you in the middle of a year with a budget amendment. I will say, though, that if you look over the last 6 years, there were years where we actually had no net increase in staff. In fact, we had a net decrease by 1 last year. But it wasn't until this year when we took on so many during the middle of the school year, and we'll need so many more to be able to provide that level of support. I will still say we probably are one of the smallest staff led districts in the state of South Carolina.
I have a question.
Yes.
How did you decide which departments those staff members would be assigned to?
That's a great question. One of the areas where there's immediate need was on the Power School side, and IT side. The other part is the LEA functions. So really, that's where the primary weight is coming, is ensuring that our SPED coordinators have the support, our testing. Everything on the LEA side is really where the meat of this is coming in. And it's because they're the ones that are directly engaged with our schools every single day, providing that school level support. So that's primarily where it's all going.
Any other questions?
I will also say, we're in the middle of testing season. And Diana is in the middle of that, and here we have responsibility for these 12 schools that are currently operating, and because their authorizer closed immediately last Wednesday. So, and y'all know how important testing is, and state, law and regulations as it relates to that. So, this staff has just had to jump in, like I said, head first, to make sure that these schools have the support they need.
And we will go ahead and remind, these results will be on South Carolina, on the charter school district, but had nothing to do with the instruction on a very short time. So that's quite a challenge. Someone, I'm sure, will remind us of that. I know John Payne will, if the scores dip, he's already got an excuse, so, he's gonna use that early.
Eric?
So Dr. Strickland, the results from this year will not be on the PCSD.
They won't be.
They will not be from this year.
They'll be pulled.
They will not be on the district. The LCA will have their own accountability report from this year.
Well, and I realize that, but then you're starting with the new year with the same thing. You had no background with the group, and hopefully it will be smooth, but it still will be a challenge.
It will be next year that will be the challenge, and the accountability results from next year, that will be the challenge, yes.
Anybody else? I just want to say, just looking at the cohort here, what everyone is saying and feeling is it is amazing what you all have done with you're like a platoon. It's not like an army. You know what I mean? So it's amazing what each of you have done and just gone to met the line, the need, the urgency, and parents across South Carolina don't even know the gift and the blessing they've got because their children are now entrusted to you in this district. And that is just the fact of the matter. The character y'all have, the integrity, the knowledge, competency, heart, everything. It's just you're an amazing cohort of people on a noble cause. And people all over this state are grateful for that. So going back to verbiage, so now we're on the first reading. We need that motion and second to the first reading of the fiscal year 2026-27. Having a motion and a second, we will now call for any further questions, which I think there are none. And the chair will now put the motion to the vote. All in favor? please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? No. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes. Yes.
Madam Chair, trustees, good morning. I think it's still morning. Good morning. I want to first begin my comments this morning with the extensive work, a little more detail, with the extensive work that we've undertaken with respect to the charter schools currently authorized by Limestone Charter Association, or LCA for short. Given the changing situation over the last month and because of the breadth and depth of knowledge and experience of our district, coupled with our proven track record, the department and the Public Charter School District entered into a memorandum of understanding in March so that the experience and expertise of this district could be brought to bear to support LCA, which had not only its closure, but also the closure of 3 of its schools and the transfer of 16 other schools, 14 to us and 2 to the Charter Institute at Erskine. Despite our attempts to engage in collaborative work, we were unsuccessful in obtaining the information from LCA. By letter, we asked LCA to provide the necessary documents by April the 7th. The department followed with correspondence on April 6th with a notice underscoring the continued missing information and our April 7th deadline. The Department of Education asserted control or operational control and notified LCA that it would be redirecting all funds via the PCSD as of April the 15th. On April the 6th, the department and the district received formal correspondence and a resolution for dissolution for LCA with indication that it would cease performing any authorizer function to its portfolio of 17 schools effective April 15th, 2026. As part of LCA's notice, they appointed their counsel as chief dissolution officer for the purposes of providing information needed. So in short, LCA ended its support and assistance to their schools beginning April 15th amidst 135th day collections right before our accountability assessments and as schools were getting ready for gearing up for the summer. 16 of them as well transferring to us, 3 of them needing to be closed. In the spirit of open honesty and transparency, I held a webinar on April the 9th to provide these updates to LCA schools and to reassure them of the commitment and competency of this district. Uncertainty can create anxiety, but it can also sharpen purpose. Throughout this change, our staff and our new schools continue to model resilience, professionalism, and mission-driven leadership we hope will last long after this temporary situation is over. So here's where we stand today. We are progressing with our school transfer protocols for the 12 open schools. Given the situation with LCA and under our MOU, we are providing direct support to all 17 LCA schools under the direction of the Department of Education in capacity as authorizer, sponsor, and local education agency. Additionally, we will facilitate the closure of the 3 LCA schools. While this is certainly not the collaborative outcome we'd hoped for, experience and expertise has taught us to always have contingency plans, and we did. Over the last month, we've completed our visits to every one of the schools, reviewed documentation, began the closure protocol with 3 schools, and began serving LCA under the direction of the department. We were able to work with all 17 schools, and our amazing staff and finance have everything set up, so we do not anticipate any disruption in the flow of funding. And I'd like to personally thank Nick and his team for their work, their amazing work in getting that up and running. Now that we also have access to LCA's data systems, as well as department platforms, we have cleaned up LCA's PowerSchool data, updated PowerSchool with critical updates that had not been completed, and ensuring that we're supporting LCA schools with this, as well as working the best we can in supporting them with their accountability work. To give a little more color, within roughly 24 hours, our team, working well into the night, were able to complete draft 135th day reports for all LCA schools, and we will have them review those 135th days to analyze any variance. Both finance as well as our data team will also be conducting variance analyses just for a triple check. While all this was underway, we built almost all transferring PowerSchool platforms for our new schools and have begun migrating data from LCA system to ours. In fact, Lisa Santiago on our team, on Tina's team, wrote between Monday and Tuesday evening, she wrote 3,000 lines of code so that we can import data with the highest level of efficiency we know how in pre-populating. Her efforts are more than paying off, as we are now pre-populating those schools, power schools, so that these new schools will have very little data entry that they'll have to do. Again, so that the schools can focus on what matters most, the thousands of children and faculty in our schools. That's the Kids First way. We have established set meetings with the Charter Institute at Erskine to ensure alignment with the two schools transferring to the DIM, and we are engaging with the department on a daily basis in this work. So in the absence of LCA, we have happily stepped into the role of high-quality support to our portfolio of 40 of our schools, as well as proxy district to 17 others. Using scalable, agile processes, this slide depicts the organizational structure of the work, continued support as proxy LEA to all LCA schools, the transfer of 12 schools to us, and supporting Erskine with 2 schools going to them, and the closure of 3 LCA schools. Each component is led by a team leader who will manage, facilitate, coordinate all the various activities in close coordination with all of our teams. Our messaging has been consistent. We remain committed to ensure a smooth, efficient transfer, professional compassion and dignity with the schools that must close, and now to do our very best to support all the LCA schools until the summer. Unexpected change tests even the strongest systems, but it also reveals the strength of the people within them. And I can readily say we have seen Herculean strength from our staff and every one of those schools too. This moment is disruptive, but it is only temporary. The work these schools have done, the cultures both us and they have built, the relationship we've all invested in, and the progress we're making remains intact. And we will emerge stronger, wiser, and better with new colleagues who are mission aligned to show our schools, communities, and our leaders that we are kids first, always. Madam Chair, that concludes my LCA updates. And now I'd like to introduce and turn it to Bridget Cuneo, who is our Charter Development Manager. Keeping with Chris's opportunity to have more staff come before you, Ms. Cuneo is going to give you an overview of our robust school renewal process. Bridget?
Thank you. Thank you.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. Today I'm going to guide you through the district's charter renewal process, providing an overview of the timeline, what is required of our schools, the support offered by our staff, and how we move from that initial guidance to the board's final decision. The renewal process is required by the Charter Act and is designed to ensure accountability. It allows our schools to demonstrate their performance and their plans for the future while giving the board the information needed to make an informed decision. The process follows a consistent annual timeline beginning in the spring of a charter's 9th contract year with district staff guidance and support. It then moves into application development over the summer, followed by district review in the fall, and concludes with board action in November. In the spring, district staff provide detailed guidance to schools, including expectations, timelines, and an explanation of material changes. Staff conduct a site visit, which includes a facility tour, classroom observations, and meetings and discussions with the school leadership and the school board. Schools receive a preliminary performance report that includes performance data, identifies any concerns that must be addressed in the renewal application, and outlines any recommended updates to the charter. From June through September, schools develop their renewal applications. This includes reviewing performance, updating their strategic plan, setting new charter goals, and addressing any identified concerns. Our district staff provide support throughout this process. The application itself includes several key components: an executive summary, performance data, any proposed material changes, financial projections, and required attestations. Material changes such as changes to the mission, programming, governance, or enrollment must be clearly documented as part of the renewal process. In October, district staff conduct a thorough review of the renewal application. This includes document review and analysis of academic, financial, and organizational performance, and when necessary, an additional site visit. In November, renewal recommendations are presented to the board for a vote to approve or deny the renewal. Renewal recommendations are grounded in three main areas: academic performance, financial stability, and governance and compliance. The district's renewal process is structured and comprehensive, and it provides opportunities for support throughout. It also ensures decisions are based on a comprehensive review of evidence. This concludes my presentation of the district's renewal process.
Thank you. Any questions, comments? Thank you very much.
Madam Chair, that concludes our updates from sponsor performance, pending any questions.
So just one, so clarification, so that means we should anticipate that in November, that's when this board will then
Yes, sir.
handle
That is
this.
our
Okay,
intent.
so just note to everyone that when we meet in November, that will be on the agenda.
Yes, sir. The strategic reason there is just so we can get those in the fall, then turn our attentions to any new applications.
Yeah, because what's gonna happen is we'll get to June, and then we'll have the break in the middle of the summer, and then we'll have August, which is everybody back to school. So just a reminder for all of us that that's what we're gonna see when we hit the middle of the fall.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you all. Thank you. Emily Baker.
I think I can say good morning. Madam Chair, members of the board, this work is hard, and right now this work is really hard. And so I appreciate each of you acknowledging what staff is enduring each day, but I kind of want to lighten it up a little bit and give some celebrations and some shout outs across the team this morning. So at first, I would like for Andrea to please stand and be recognized. The Institute for District Administrators is designed to support entry-level district leaders with the knowledge, skills, and characteristics needed to serve on and lead highly effective district teams. District-level administrators, defined as superintendent designees, assistant superintendents, directors, coordinators, supervisors, and other district staff are eligible to enroll. I am pleased to share with you today that Andrea Green has completed IDA for the 25-26 school year. This 8-session intensive over the course of 7 months is worthy of celebration and pride. What makes IDA unique is that participants take the lead in their learning using job-embedded experiences and personalization to support their role as district-level leaders. Congratulations, Andrea. And I am also pleased to say that Chi-Chi will be in the next IDA cohort. So excited for Chi-Chi. Tracy, please stand and be recognized. The Center for Executive Education Leadership, or SEAL, District Level Leader SEAL Strand, is a SCASA professional development offering for district administrators. SEAL Silver includes 3 workshops designed to support a leader's professional and personal growth. I am pleased to share with you today that Tracy Sweet has completed SEAL Silver for the 25-26 school year. This 3-session intensive over the course of this school year is worthy of celebration and pride. Examples of these sessions include the role of the superintendent, the art of influencing others, and the work of leaders. Congratulations, Tracy. Okay, this is a fun one for me. The first week of April, Emily, Paul, and I had the pleasure of attending the National Institute of Excellence in Teaching's 2026 National Conference. We attended the conference as the guest of Josh Barnett, the CEO of NIET. Our role in attending the conference was to nurture our relationship and our partnership and remain connected to an organization that we respect and champion for. Some highlights from our trip are pictured here. The large picture on the left is Emily and I alongside State Superintendent Ellen Weaver, Executive Director Lil Atoll Monsager, who works for the department, and Riverwalk Academy's leadership team. The top picture on the right is Superintendent Weaver serving on a panel of other state leaders discussing educator impact across the country. The bottom picture on the right, whether flattering or not, is a picture of myself with a Louisiana principal digging into a 4th grade math standard together to analyze student work, math standards, and educator lesson planning to fulfill the rigor of the standard. A moment of celebration belongs to Riverwalk Academy as they were named a 2026 Founders Award finalist by NIET and Mr. Lowell Milken. Riverwalk Academy is one of 5 schools from across the country to be named a Founders Award finalist. Riverwalk was celebrated by their partnership with NIET, their commitment to the work, and for their continued excellence in teaching that leads to positive student outcomes. While Riverwalk did not walk away with a big prize, they were very well deserving of this recognition and honor, and it was fun to celebrate alongside them. Later this month, actually I believe it's next week, NIET will be in our office offering a professional development opened up to our full portfolio to continue deepening school-level capacity in using data to empower teacher support. We look forward to a rich future with NIET. In fact, we just learned yesterday of a new seed grant that Josh reached out and said, hey, let's talk about this. So Emily and I will meet with Josh soon. But we thank the CEO, Josh Barnett, for hosting Emily and I earlier this month. And this is truly my favorite event of the year. So I was happy to go again. And finally, Rihanna, please stand and be recognized. The 2026 Southeastern School Behavioral Health Conference is a hybrid event promoting effective school behavior health practices, operating within the school's MTSS and promoting positive social, emotional, behavioral, and academic functioning of all students. This event took place in Greenville last week. Rihanna co-facilitated a breakout session at the conference alongside Donna Ewing of the University of South Carolina. They facilitated a session entitled Beyond the Tiers, and not T-E-A-R-S, tiers, like multi-tiered systems of support, collaborative approaches for MTSS and behavioral health to showcase their district MTSS focus group collaboration. Additionally, Rihanna received a big surprise during that event. Rihanna received the South Carolina School Behavioral Health Academy's Leadership Award, recognizing her exceptional leadership and enduring commitment to systems change that advances the integration of behavioral health within MTSS. So congratulations, Rihanna. The cool thing about all of this and the culture that Chris has created for us is that not only are we each day doing our best to support our schools so that they may in turn support students, he strongly believes and encourages staff to continue our own professional growth. And so I thank Chris for creating that culture, and I thank the team for taking on these additional items on top of their everyday work, because the other stuff doesn't stop. So that concludes my celebrations, pending any questions.
Well, that was a beautiful presentation. Okay. Brad Henry.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. We're now into the final countdown of the 2026 legislative session with only 10 working days remaining. The final day of the session coincides with our next board meeting and the 20th anniversary celebration on May 14th. Few bills and things that I would like to bring to your attention and update you on. On the Charter School Accountability Bill, as I noted in March, Senator Hembree's bill has passed the Senate after several years of consideration. The bill is currently on the House floor and is being considered for special order in the House either today or early next week. So our team is very closely monitoring this bill and working with the team in the House on this bill. On the state budget, it is currently budget week in the Senate. The House approved its version of the $15.4 billion state budget 2 weeks ago, and school district projections have been released. We remain encouraged by indications that charter schools will be fully funded in the final version of the budget this year. On the South Carolina High School League reform, legislation to reform the South Carolina High School League has passed the House and is now in the Senate. This bill sets uniform rules for student eligibility, transfers, and participation, ensuring equitable access for public, charter, private, and homeschool students, while creating a formal appeals process and clearer operational standards for interscholastic athletics. Private providers is a bill I have not mentioned to you before, but this is a bill that the Senate gave third reading to and returned to the House earlier this week. The legislation requires school districts to consider on a case-by-case basis parental requests to allow private providers to deliver certain medically necessary services to students during school hours. Approval must be determined by the district through an established review process. On the grading bill, the Public School Grading Practices Bill, this bill establishes statewide standards for grading practices in all public schools, requiring that grades reflect only a student's actual academic performance and prohibiting policies that artificially inflate minimum scores. It also ties eligibility for credit or content recovery to completion of required coursework, limits the use of certain assessments and final grades, and directs the State Board of Education to review and strengthen the uniform grading policy. It has passed the House and is currently on the Senate calendar. Last bill I wanted to update you on is the Smart Heart Act. This is something that's been around for a few years, which has been promoted by the American Heart Association in states across the country. Governor McMaster just signed the Smart Heart Act, which requires all South Carolina public schools to develop and implement cardiac emergency response plans and ensure all staff are trained and prepared to respond quickly to sudden cardiac arrest incidents. It also mandates that AEDs or automated external defibrillators be readily available on school campuses and at athletic events, with clear requirements for placement, maintenance, and personnel training. Last couple of things I wanted to bring to your attention before I close out. John S. Payne on our team just yesterday conducted board training with school board members from across the state. This is the mandated training that new school board members at our schools must go through. We do these twice a year in person here at the district office, so we just did that yesterday. And I also wanted to let you know, and I know I've talked to a few of you individually, but the Senate Education Committee on next Wednesday, April 29th at 10 a.m. will hold the board member reappointment hearings. So if you're a board member, and thank you all so much, I know it's a very tedious and cumbersome process filling out all that information to get reappointed, but those hearings will be scheduled next Wednesday, the 29th at 10 a.m.
What is the time you said?
10 a.m.
10 a.m.
Yes.
Should
Yeah.
we attend if we haven't been informed about it?
Yes. You should make
show
plans. Yes, you should make plans to attend. We'll also get some information out to you today about, we're going to have just kind of a Zoom call with everyone, likely Monday afternoon, to just get together and talk a little bit about it, and just some things that you might expect at the hearing, things like that. And we can answer any questions and things like that on the Zoom call. Madam Chair, this concludes my report. Happy to answer any other questions.
Any questions?
I do have a question.
Yes.
Do you think there'll be a time where we may have to consider an athletic, I don't want to say director, but somebody to oversee all the changes in sports?
For our district?
Yes.
So yes, we actually do have an athletic director for our district. Josh Trahan from Fox Creek serves as our athletic director as well. He has a good handle on everything that goes on with the high school league and all of our schools.
Okay. Is he in our budget? Is he in the district budget?
He
receives a stipend for his service.
Okay.
He attends all of their meetings, he gets all of their communications, and he keeps Chris and our team informed.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Good question. Any other questions? Okay, thank you, and thank you for any prep that we do need to know about for next week.
Absolutely.
That's very important.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Brad. Emily Paul.
All right. Before I get into my presentation, Dr. Strickland, I wanted to share with you, based on your question about how we plan for our staffing, we actually do have a scientific way of doing it. Our strategic plan a couple years ago asked us to develop a staffing matrix, and so that's something that we use every year, and we have a way to look at our staff using ratios, like sometimes some positions are student to staff member ratio, sometimes it's school number to staff. We also look at ways where we can see kind of how much room they have for growth, where we can stretch and where we can't stretch. So we do have a scientific way of doing that every year and trying to make our best guesstimate as to what we need. All right, so I have exciting news on progress on our annual plan. Thank you to Bo Spafford. He took all of our dreams for Workforce Centers of Excellence, and we actually named our first Workforce Center of Excellence on Tuesday. We designated PD Math and Science in Bishopville as our very first Workforce Center of Excellence. Bo worked with them to make sure they met that criteria that we had established, which was to have a dedicated career specialist, a partnership with local business and industry, opportunities for workforce-related skills, credits, and certifications. They provide ASVAB testing annually, and they make programming available to all of their students. So you can see there a picture of us at PD with their Workforce Centers of Excellence banner. It was a great event. Chris has some more pictures in his slides, so you can see more about that. And then I just have 2 save-the-date reminders. On May 7th, we have our Teacher of the Year banquet. If you would like to attend that, please come see me today so we can make sure that we get your lunch count, because we've got to submit that. So we would love to see you there. It's a great event, just celebrating our Teachers of the Year and announcing who the District Teacher of the Year will be. And then the next event I wanted to remind you of is our 20th anniversary celebration. That is the following week on May 14th, and that will be immediately following our board meeting on May 14th. So we will have some vans if you would like to ride with us over to the Palmetto Club. But again, just see me if you'd like to attend that. I have heard from some of you, but not all of you. So just come see me and we'll make sure that we get you in the count. That concludes my report, pending any questions.
Any questions? No, thank you, Emily.
Thank you.
All right, well, a lot of information. We're gaining a lot of knowledge today, right? It's like being in class. A lot of good shout outs today. I'm really proud of the entire team. But before I get into that, I just wanted to reflect again on the life of Teresa's mom and Epiphany Anderson at Liberty STEAM Charter School. We really do view the staff, the board, and all of our families and staff at the school level as one big family. And anytime we lose a member of that family, it impacts us all. And so I appreciate Dexter. You calling me the other night as soon as you heard about Epiphany. And of course, many of us were able to go to Teresa's mom's viewing and funeral. And, that's what we do. We support our family, right? And so just continue to keep those members of our family in your prayers. On the shout out side, Andrea. I go to give her a shout out, and she's already back there in the barbecue line. Yeah, she's trying to beat me. Yeah. Okay, well, because I knew, where's that big smiley face of hers? She just took off again.
No, Catherine, you see, right there.
Oh, okay, all right, well, Andrea, yeah, all right, I can't see it because of the band. There we go, all right. Congratulations, Tracy, Rihanna. Appreciate the fact that you all are committing yourselves to being the best you can be. And I just appreciate the fact you do take advantage of the opportunities that we give you all to be a part of everything we've got going on here. Really appreciate the efforts of all our leaders. I want to say, I won't go on and on about the limestone stuff anymore. I think John did a really good job about that. I'll just say that it has been a tremendous load for everybody. But there's definitely some key leaders in the organization and their teams that have really carried the most of the load. And I'd be remiss without calling them out because they do such a great job of thanking their colleagues and teammates. But I want to make sure that John Payne, John, stand up, and let's give him a round of applause. John's been the face, the voice, the recipient of arrows and everything else when it comes to all of this work. And he's the one that really, from the very beginning, led this entire effort. So, John, I really appreciate the way you really just invested yourself on behalf of all of us on that. And your team as well. I mean, Lisa, I don't know what it takes to write 3,000 codes or code, but it sounds like a lot. I do know this, that the schools are in good shape because of her work. Tina, John came in my office a few weeks ago and showed me that whole, notebook that you put together, really the introduction piece for all the schools. All the work that Bridget and Kristen have done, the school visits, they literally went on a caravan for 2 weeks and visited all the schools. The other person that was has continued to be a key leader, and quite frankly, I feel like he works for a lot of agencies in this state, is Eric Norton. Eric, stand up. Seriously, let's give Eric a round of applause. I will say, the Department of Education literally has called on him to help provide counsel and guidance and advice, and he has stood up very tall for this district, but really, more importantly, for the students and the families, to ensure that this transition legally went through in the right way. So, Eric, I appreciate you and the whole team for all the work. Bo Spafford, stand up. We've been planning the Workforce Centers of Excellence now for 2 years. We did all the research. We did all the due diligence, the design, creating the criteria, all that before Bo came on board. But we wanted to make sure that we got it right when we named the schools as part of the Workforce Centers of Excellence. So when he came on board, he started working with Dr. Keith Bailey over at PD Math Science Technology Academy. And Keith said, we want to be the first. We'll be the first to meet the criteria, and they did. And so Bo put on a great event with Dr. Bailey, so let's give him a round of applause. It was a spectacular event, and they're the first school in America to have that designation.
Wow.
The first school in one of the poorest counties in South Carolina and in America. It goes to show you that great opportunity and great things can come out of places where no one had hope, where no one believed that a school like that could grow and provide opportunity for those kids. So we're really excited about what Dr. Keith Bailey and PD Math Science Technology is doing, and I'm excited about our next Workforce Center of Excellence. So I'm waiting to see who the next school will be, but I hear we might have one in May, so we'll make sure and invite all of you for that. As you know, April is the month of the military child. So a few weeks ago, we had the opportunity with some of our scholars from Liberty STEAM Charter School over in Sumter to join Governor McMaster, State Superintendent Ellen Weaver, and the military leaders and commanders from around the state in our military installations on celebrating military children. And then afterwards, the scholars from Liberty got a chance to go and sit in the governor's chair. He let each one of them, I wish I had a picture of every one of them. He let every one of them sit in his chair and get a photo. And it was just a wonderful moment for these kids. And they asked really good questions, too. I love how they put our politicians on the spot when they ask questions. But that was a wonderful moment. And we're proud to stand with our Department of Veterans Affairs and our governor and our General Assembly and all our military leaders across the state. And, of course, Liberty's always there when we have military events. Last week, we had the opportunity to go over to Anderson University and sign really a historic document. That's Dr. Whitaker, the president of the university, with me there. But I want to thank Kip Miller. Kip really planted the seed for this last year, and we've been talking about for a couple years visiting Anderson and exploring what they're doing in terms of workforce and their academic programs. And so last December, we had a luncheon with Dr. Whitaker and his leadership team and Kip, and out of that was this fruit that has been brought forth, this MOU where the Public Charter School District and Anderson University are now partners to design leadership programs for our teachers, to offer graduate educational leadership programs for our teachers and school leaders, dual enrollment opportunities for our students, and also to partner with Anderson and explore what it would look like for our high schools to have ROTC programs that would partner with Anderson's Army ROTC program, which is also partnered with Clemson University. So a great example of public-private partnership when two organizations can partner together that share similar values and put kids first. And I'm very thankful for Dr. Whitaker. He's just an amazing person, what he's done over at Anderson and growing that school. The largest private school in South Carolina. So you got the largest statewide public school district and the largest private university working together. So we're excited about the future with Anderson. Workforce is the name of the game in the state. If you ask any of our leaders at the State House and our governor, the Department of Commerce, the Chamber of Commerce, and the local chambers. And Bo and Brad set up a great meeting with the Greater Columbia Chamber of Commerce. We're going to start becoming members of some of our regional larger chambers of commerce to work with them around the state in partnership on behalf of our schools. And we really appreciate Carl Blackstone, the president, who I've known for many, many years, and their leadership and their interest in working with us on workforce. Just some more amazing images. I've got a phone full of them from the other day, but this is PD Math Science Technology Academy and the event that we had. We had all the students out there. They all had pom-poms, and man, they love the pom-poms, and I tell them, just shake it. And we had a lot of fun. There's Dr. Keith Bailey down there at the bottom. My message was pretty simple. In the beginning, God gave Adam an instruction, and that was to go to work and to work in the garden. And what I told all these young people is each one of them will have their own garden. It will be based off of their craft, their interest, the thing that they are passionate and talented to do. And then in the marketplace, we have a need. So does their craft meet a need in the market? And it's up to our schools to design learning and instruction and workforce programs for our kids so that when they leave our educational institutions, they can go tend to their garden, the one that they designed that looks different for every one of us, but to tend to that garden. So just an amazing event. I go back to what y'all hear me say a lot, that if you believe in the soul of a child, then you have to believe in their ability to have their own garden that fulfills their dreams and hopes and prosperity. So excited about the future there, but really excited about statewide the opportunity for us to do more of that. I'm very appreciative of Dr. Graddick. She took the reins 2 years ago, and I'm telling y'all, what she's got going on down there in Orangeburg is truly amazing. She didn't inherit the best of situations. and has really turned that school around. She was a leader here in Columbia, and Richland won, and went down. She drives every day down to Orangeburg, and she's committed. And, I mean, I think you could see that. And they have turned that school around. Did you see what they did on ELA? Plus 15% growth?
Yeah.
And the fact they didn't drop in math, that's a win when you look at what's going on around the country in math. So really excited about that. Really excited about our students at Greer Middle College. I have no doubt they're one day going to become a workforce center of excellence. They're doing those things to introduce the students to jobs and careers. And so those students are going out and they're learning about and exploring, the things they're passionate about. Or it might not be the career field they go into, as you heard, but they learn important life skills from it that they're going to, incorporate into their learning. We look forward to working with Charter Schools USA and their new school innovation. I have all the confidence they'll meet the conditions of their approval, and I know John and his team will be working very closely with them on that. I want to do another shout out to Emily Baker's entire team. I talked earlier about the number of FTEs. They've had to do a lot of this work on the LEA side to help these limestone schools without the additional support. We're trying to get ramped up, and we're doing interviews now. I met with 2 people yesterday that are interested in being part of our team. But Emily, your team's just done a magnificent job ensuring that nothing gets dropped, especially right here at testing time. Literally, these schools did not have a district to stand with them in one of the most important moments of the school year during testing time. So my hat's off to all of them. And Bridget, great job on your presentation. I look forward to seeing who's next. I know somebody here is going to be stepping up to do that. Marty, welcome. Love your energy. And I know you and Dawn get along really well over there, but I'm very happy that you could come be a part of the team. The last slide I'll show you was from my change of command ceremony last Saturday. If you're on LinkedIn, you might have seen this already. For the last 2 years, I've had command of a battalion up in Minnesota, and I laugh because I just wouldn't make it up there, guys. It's just too cold. And it was quite fitting that the day I was up there last week, I landed, I think it was Wednesday. I got up there, it was 80 degrees. I left here, it was 80-something, and I get up there, and it was 80. On Sunday, when I got on the plane, Sunday morning at 6 a.m., it was snowing. And they had to, put that ice stuff on the plane or whatever. But anyway, I relinquished command on Saturday to a very capable commander, Adrienne Bryant. She's the one kind of standing here in the foreground, and she's going to be a wonderful commander. But I brought this up not because of me, but I wouldn't be able to serve if it weren't for my family at home and my family here. And, a lot of people come up to me all the time, and they're always like, God, I wish I'd have served. I thought about joining the military, and I just didn't do it. I should have done that. There's so many different ways that Americans can serve their country. You don't all have to wear the uniform. And everybody in this room has served because you enabled me to serve. It's a commitment for me to have to be gone for 5 or 6 days a month to do duty in Minnesota. But I can't do it without the support of the entire staff who have to fill in the gaps and the holes when I'm not here in the work. So, and then of course, my family, my wife, I wouldn't be able to serve 25 years if it weren't for her at all. She's my sergeant major, and she tells me exactly what to do. And, but her and my kids, it takes a big family. So you all serve. You should be proud of your service because that's what enables the soldier to stand in formation on behalf of the country. So I just wanted to end on that. And I can't think of a better way to celebrate something like that than for us to have barbecue. So Andrea, you better not have gotten in there already. I was going to be first this time. I'm usually last. But Marlene made sure that we had barbecue today from Doc's Barbecue over on Shop Road. I think you'll really enjoy it. So pending any questions from the board, that's the end of my brief.
Thank you. Do we have a motion for adjournment?
So move.
All in favor? We are adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.
So they're on,